Om Shanti. Very good evening, dear sisters and brothers. A very warm welcome to yet another interesting conversation in conjunction with Brahmakumari's 40th anniversary celebration. As you know, the theme we have chosen is Unity, Respect, and Love. I'm Celia, and I'm very honored to be the anchor for this evening's conversation. And so, sisters and brothers, with us today is a very special soul who has been with Baba for 40 years. Sister Helen, a very warm welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Very good.
Good, great. Yes. So, Sister Helen, this is going to be a private conversation in the public, and there will be some surprises for all of us. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay. So sisters and brothers, we have some interesting things to share with you this evening, and many of us do not even know some of these things. So stay tuned till the end. Are you all ready? Good. So Sister Helen, maybe I'll start with this little story of how I first met you. You were in PJ for a short time, was it? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think very short time. Yeah. And I was working at that time, and occasionally I visit the center in the evening. And so there was one evening when I was there, you were conducting a small workshop. There were just about, well, I think 4 or 5 of us, and you asked us to share a virtue that we were working on at that time. And you asked me first. I was surprised, and I didn't think of it. I just said peace. And then others shared purity, determination, and all those very big, I thought at that time was, wow, they were all sharing more advanced. I was just at the level of peace. And so I could not, I was feeling a little bit uneasy, and I was still new in Gyan. And so when your turn to share, you also said peace. So Sister Helen, do you know, at that moment, I could feel that connectedness. It was my first time meeting you, and I could feel that connection, that soul connection at the deeper level. I felt your simple nature, your ability to connect at the soul level was so immense. So Sister Helen, can you share some of these experiences and how you can connect at the soul level?
Okay. Generally, from young, I'm very introverted type, very quiet. I just keep to myself. And I'm always like a detached observer, all right? I'm like watching from above, you know, watching the actions and even the thoughts, like from above. And I like to be just observer. So in fact, during that time, there was a TV program called Invisible Man, and I wanted to be invisible because I don't want people to see me, so that I can be observing, because if they detect somebody there, behavior is different. So when they don't see me, they don't know, then it's like, you know, their behavior will be different. So because of that kind of silence from the early times, that's how I feel I'm able to sense a bit, you know, people and what they are feeling, what their needs, etc. And also a bit of understanding. And I would say that because I'm like just observer, I didn't feel this intimidation of people, right? Whether they are big positions or whatever, I never felt the kind of intimidation or being so impressed by people in that sense.
Yeah, we could see that. And that is a very nice virtue, which I'm really learning from you. But we also know lately, now only, we also know that there is another part of you which many of us do not know perhaps. So there was another side. In fact, there is, I hope, there's another side of you which many of us do not really know. And that is your adventurous spirit. I heard you were traveling and working in many countries before you joined the Brahma Kumaris. So can you also share some of those adventures that you had before Gyan? What was your life like?
All right. Yeah. After Form 5, which is O levels, my only interest is to study psychology, but that is not offered, you know. And I didn't want to spend 2 years of Form 6 and 3-4 years of university. I didn't want to waste my time and energy. I was interested in travel, so my family could afford me one-way ticket to London. So that time, many people go there for nursing. So because you have allowance, you have a place to stay. I did that for 6 months, and then 3 months I switched to intensive secretarial, so I could work and save my money. My travels were very, very budget. I had hitchhiked, I have slept in bus stations, train stations, airports.
Bus stations you slept?
Yes, bus stations, airports.
Oh my goodness.
Train stations, you know, I have slept. And, you know, nearly about 50 years ago, no internet, no nothing, but still I went, you know, just went to really different places, from Egypt crossing down to Sudan. You know, in those days, you don't find even solo female travelers, let alone an Asian.
You travel alone on your own?
I travel alone all the time.
Oh.
I travel alone. So let alone an Asian.
Are you not scared?
No, the thing is, I was never scared in that way. I didn't know anything. Crossing over, it was an open deck boat, all right? And the cheap ones, of course, all the budget ones, we were all sleeping on the deck. And I don't realize that desert, hot in the day and cold in the night. I had nothing. Of course, those foreign travelers had their sleeping bags and all that. I had nothing. But I just managed to borrow 2 sheepskin from a trader. I saw he was having sheepskin. One to put on the deck, the other one as a blanket. So things like that. But I tell you, in the poorer countries, the people are very, very hospitable, very nice. Even they are poor, but they will invite you to eat and join them and all that, very sincerely from their heart.
So how many countries have you visited now?
I have went around Europe and all that. I've gone under the Great Pyramid in Egypt. I've gone on the Machu Picchu mountain there, the civilization, or through Central South America, from the Aztec to the Mayans to the Incan civilization. And this is how it is. Even I look at it now, how I was doing that, I don't know how I was doing that, you know, because Central America I went through, it was already 2 months. So I thought that it was too tedious to go all around South America. I think I'll do it another time. And from Panama, I managed to find a ship. And in those days, these Russian ships are very good because they bring all the British immigrants to Australia, New Zealand. I managed to find the ship, and I managed to get the visa Australia from the British embassy, because we are in the Commonwealth. You won't find Malaysian consulate in those places. But I somehow know how to go to the British embassy and got my visa. So the ship went down. I could go to Australia, but I jumped off New Zealand first to work and visit there. After that, I went off to Australia. So it was basically all over. I live and work in Honolulu also in that way.
So Sister Helen, may I say that was your courage, adventure? Did you bring that virtue into the Brahma Kumaris? That virtue that you had, you know, while you were traveling, you were working?
Yeah, you know, I never think of it as courage, actually. It was like normal, normal in that way, how I was moving. So I never think it was courage.
Wonderful.
So I did all that, and when I came back, I made a few trips, to and fro, a few trips in different places. But when I came back, I also changed my job because I like creativity. So I managed to get into advertising agency because I like to learn. So even though I just took a big jump, not jump, lower pay, but I went in like a nobody to learn, and it was very good learning, because you learn all these art of selling, etc. So the creativity as a copywriter, as concept, and later as I work as in the selling and marketing. And it is actually there that my time of coming to Baba started.
I was about to ask you the question about coming to Baba. How did you get to know Baba? You were traveling so much and then you're working.
Yeah.
I'll come to that later. I've got one interesting question, very personal. I hope you don't mind, but I'd like to know, how did you, in the midst of all those traveling, you become very spiritual, right? You were adventurous, you like to know, you're creative, you like to learn and see things. But then in the midst of that, Baba called a lot of you. What that means you have got the adventurous streak, the spirit, and you have that spiritual spirit. Of course, you're a deity soul. So how did you come to Baba?
I guess, that was about the age of about 30, bodily age. To me, then I look at, I was in the room, and I say there are 4 walls, I just that, yeah, I've done all these different things, but still there's something empty, something missing, a void,
Yeah.
And that was about 6 months before I came to Baba.
Yeah.
So it's like the time, of that life.
Yeah. So Sister Helen, those early days, I heard there were very many interesting stories, some even very hilarious. I think you all started in Lucky Garden and then you moved on to Lorong Ma'ruf, Bangsa, where we are now.
Yeah.
So what were those? Just share with us what are those hilarious stories, because this is a conversation.
All right.
And let it make it more interesting for all the audience out there.
So
there's amazing stories there.
That's good. Because a majority have not yet actually even seen the first center. So was very lucky. Maybe Brother Chandris can help to share the photos now.
That was very nice.
Yeah, we are very fortunate that Philippa, you see Philippa in the white sari, she's from England, and she was traveling and she took knowledge here in the first garden, the first center, number 4, Jalan Taban 1, Lucky Gardens, Bangsa Park. Then the next photo, then you may recognize Philippa. I actually earlier didn't.
Master classes, she was.
21 months. When I realized she was the same Philippa, I was very happy that she's with Baba still and doing wonderful service for Baba. And she was the one to supply these photos, so thank you, Philippa. Next. All right, this is the classroom of the first center. As you enter the center, it's to the left, the gadi, all right? You wouldn't recognize who's that sister in the middle. That is Mohini of New York. When the first time she came, Philippa is still there. And at the bottom row, sitting in the white kurta, is Brother Robert, one of the 2 instrument brothers. All right? Yeah. Okay, next. So, all right, this is the front of the center. And behind the sister is, you recognize, is Tan Sri Mahadevan.
Mahadevan.
Yeah, we went to serve him. He was the head of psychiatry in General Hospital. Very busy, and truly, when we were sitting in his office, people were coming in and going out, and on the telephone all the time. And he said, no time. Then I say, okay, what about 4 something in the morning? All right, then okay, he agreed to do the lessons, and I gave him morning call, and he used to travel from where he was staying near the zoo all the way to Bangsa, where he took some lessons.
Mm.
So that was him.
And you are on the far left, right?
Yes.
Doesn't look like you.
Unrecognizable.
Yeah.
All right, next. All right, yeah, so this is also Brother Jyoti's house, actually. Philippa is there. Brother Tom is to the right, the elder of the two instrument brothers. And whether you recognize the person in the pink shirt, that is Brother Jyoti. That is his house. I couldn't recognize when I saw these photos. Yeah, that is his house, yeah. Okay, next. Yeah, I wanted to show this because this mother in the middle with the pigtails, she's Angela, and she's from the early days. I used to walk past the center to her house to accompany her to go to the center for Amrit Vela. And near her house was a pack of dogs, very fierce dogs barking away. But, we used to do that in the morning. I walk with her to the center.
Wow, amazing.
So these are the few photos, all right, from the early days, especially for those who haven't seen. All right.
Thanks, sister, for sharing those memorable, what should I say, down the memory lane, those pictures we have never seen before. And so, Sister Helen, in those early days, normally, I think you're one of them, just like Brother Ken, who, and many other seniors, I think, who didn't even finish. I heard you didn't finish the 7-day course and you already attended Murli, was it?
Yeah.
There is something amazing. So I think the audience would also like to know, what was it that Baba attracted you, and what was your best experience or unique experience with God? Can you share that?
All right, sure. Yeah, actually, as I was mentioning, I was working in that agency. Initially, I saw 2 lines from the classified ad about free yoga. I cut it and put it at the table. Again, it was like one day I will go. And then Brother Robert came to work in my company. And one day I discovered he was vegetarian. And then I connected that he was from that center. He also gave me the little book, Jewels of Meditation, which again, it was sitting on my desk. I didn't read it. And one day he said, Daddy Jenkins is coming. And that was the one evening I first stepped into the center. And when she was giving Toli at the end, I realized I avoided her looking at her face, looking at her eyes. My face was turned away. I didn't want to look at her eyes. And even the Toli, which is a sweet coconut candy, I didn't eat it because it was like too sweet. But and the next day was the public talk at Brickfields, the event. I didn't go. That time I wasn't impressed. I didn't go. But shortly after that, one evening after work, I said I'm coming to do the lesson, and I did the first lesson. Sister Moni was there, and after that she said, I have another lesson. If you want, you can sit in. And I sat at the back of the hall. She was doing the cycle, and after the lesson I walked up to look at the poster, and in my mind the thoughts were very clear. I said, this is very logical. I always thought it was something like this. It was like a big jigsaw puzzle falling into place. And that was, as you know, December 81, when Daddy came. And it was, I didn't continue anything, but it was something happening with me. Something was going on. In fact, I was writing a commercial and I had everybody dressed in white. And when I went to, sometimes I go to look at some clothes, as I say, props for the commercial. And I was also looking through all the clothes, and final selection was 3 white cotton dresses, which I bought. And they were the expensive designer ones, and even one till today, I never worn, So things were happening. I just went off to Singapore, and then I went to Desaru, just like walking and wandering around, and a lot of thoughts going in my head, you know. Then the thought that I must go back and ask questions. And I went, and I had 2 hours. I think, exhausting Sister Morning with all my questions, you know. Then after that, it was like, you know, 18 January, and she said, well, come for morning class. And I did, then that's it.
So and you did 2 lessons and then you attended morning class.
Yeah, there's sort of something like that, you know, it was like, you know, kind of thing. And then somehow it's like Baba's magic that, you know, I just kept coming for morning classes, which very definitely not me, because I'm not a morning person at all, you know, but still I was getting up, you know. And one day I was just, while driving, the thought just came that God has come. How can I not go and meet him? Very, you know, distinct thought. And straight away, I just decided I'd pack up my things and resign my job and everything. So I told them at the center, and they were looking at me funnily, you know, and I didn't know what was the matter, you see. And then they say, oh, Didi Namala is coming, you know, have a talk with her. Yes, that time she was coming, February, I think. And Didi, when she talked with me, she tried to persuade me to wait 6 months before I go. But she realized I was very stubborn. I was not going to listen, because in my mind, I was already thinking, if they don't give me permission, I'm just going to go and stay outside the campus. Nobody can stop me, you know, then I can go and visit the campus. So in the end, she gave me permission. And
so means you less than 6 months. How long was it in Gyan that you visited Mother?
Well, yeah, less than 3 months.
Wow.
3 months, you know, March. And for me, I pack up everything because I felt that there's a lot to learn, because from there, I was going to go to London and America to learn, you know, that was my plan. So even in Madhaban, and they said, when he said, oh, Daddy wants to talk to you, etc., because they realized I was going to London, you know, and I don't know all the rules and regulations. You see, I don't know. I said, why Daddy want to talk to me? you know. And then she talked to me, and she looked at me and she said, after that, she said, okay, you have permission, you can go and stay in Shakti Bhavan. So I had stayed in Shakti Bhavan. It was very interesting. There was the first Shakti Bhavan in London with sisters like Anthea Church was there. Dr. Sarah Eagle was there in the early days. Yeah. And then, and very interesting how with the sisters and the residents and all that, you know. And Daddy used to talk and ask, you know, what you want to do. You want to go to Germany? You want to go to visit? You want to go here, go there? And because I work on intuition, I didn't feel it. But on the 4th week, in the morning, I had a kind of a what you call a kind of a visual. And I could see that I was like a little bird at the end of a branch. And there's a big mama bird stomping on the branch and shooing me off the branch and say, now you go and fly. So it was like a signal for me, now time to go back and do service.
And that's how you came back to Malaysia and started centers?
And came back for service. Yeah.
That lead to some interesting things in the early days as well. That when you then came back, you were in Lorong Ma'ruf, was it? Was it in those early days?
Yeah.
And I heard that y'all were so lucky in the sense that y'all were close, and there were many seniors who came. I think Dadi Goza, Dadi Janki, Dadi Prakashmani, and all those seniors came, and Sudesh Didi and so on. And you were so few of you, you were literally eating with them, traveling with them, and sometimes even sleeping with them in the same room.
Well, yeah.
Very fortunate.
Like in the first center, Asha Didi came.
Asha Didi also.
Asha Didi came, and because she got lockkick relatives, she got lockkicks in KL, she came to see them. And
are they still around?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And, you know, it's a brother center, and, you know, they say, oh, you come and stay with her, you know, in the room. Of course, I have no idea why. So, okay, I stay around and that way. I didn't know what to do, you know, because believe me, we were all very raw and new. And when Sudesh Didi came and the instruments have arranged a kind of a retreat up in the hill. I think it's Fraser's Hill. And it was, you know, those government bungalows, you know, they're so run down and all that. And it had 2 rooms and 1 bathroom. And Sudesh Didi once, like in the morning, she'll say, okay, brothers, you all go for a walk. And the brothers, and some brothers say, oh no, we don't want to go for a walk, you know. So early morning, send us to go for a walk. You know, later, of course, all of us are so raw and green, we don't know, because there's 1 bathroom, so the brothers have to go out for a walk, or the sisters, you know, shower. And after the sisters are done, the sisters went for a walk, you know, things like that. And you know, and only Mahadevan had a bed in the middle of the living room, you know, where all of us get up umbrella and all that, and he's in the bed in the middle of the room. And but Didi Sudesh was very sporting, and she used to get all of us to do, like, even play childish games, and even you know, those childish games, going around in a circle and doing all that. And she you know, being a senior, and really we didn't put up the proper arrangements and all that, but she was very sporting. She kind of made everything very light and easy. And when we sit in the park in a circle talking, and if she saw some interested people looking, she will get up and give them pamphlets and talk to them. Great example of that interest in service. Great example of her humility, and really that's being so sporting in that way. So that's I learned from her. From Mohini Didi, one thing I learned when she first came, and she is an observer, and she said that Malaysia is very fertile. The souls are a good blend of East and West. And one time when we came back from a program, you know, one of the instruments went to the kitchen, opened the cover, and say, oh, what food was for lunch and all that. She don't tell immediately whatever, but it came out in her sharing later that that is not royal behavior, you know. So you don't do that. And I know, just like you get flowers for God, you don't go and smell and all that, because that becomes second hand.
Yeah.
See? Such, you know, what is royal behavior? Just simple things, you know, we don't know, you know, but she don't say kind of, you know, but it comes out a later part, you know, in her sharings. And then we got the idea.
It means she never correct you there and then.
Not then and all that. And it was just like sharing. Then, you know, we learn, you know, you don't do that. You have offer to God first. You don't go and, you know, like the flowers, you don't even smell the flowers before you offer. It becomes second hand. It's not royal behavior, you know. So things like that. You know? So
you learn from the seniors, the daddies, like practical lessons.
Yeah, very, very practical.
Yeah. And there were some more interesting things about Daddy Janki visiting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, some hilarious photos as well. Or you're going to share that later?
Okay, I can share that, so that the brother can share that that photo, since the brother will share this. So this is actually in the first center in Penang, 1B Cantonment Road. And you can see Daddy Prakashmani and Mohini Band of New York. Sorry, Mohini Band of Madhuban. And then that was when Mason was up here also. You can see all very young and
young. So young.
Yeah, okay. So that is, then the next photo, this is in Kalawai Road, the 3rd center, when, you know, Daddy had already visited 3 times in Penang. We were very fortunate. And, you know, this, we took the Gadi from the stage to put at the back of the Murali Hall. And Daddy, at about like 10 something in the morning, she was just like lying there, like blissed, you know, so smiling and blissed and sleeping like that. You see, all these students, we had a group from South Thailand, Pattaya, Sister Tim, and South Thailand, that's near us. So they come and visit a few times, you know. So they're all like sitting, just looking at Daddy. And Daddy was just so, for a while, you know, Daddy was just in that bliss, very blissful and just beyond in that way. So it was a very interesting time. And since the brother is showing photos, I might as well just, you know, show a few things. So this is the original family. No, this is the first center, the family original jewels, all right, in the first center, 1B Cantonment Road. So this, yeah, 1B can you see Brother Aru at the far end there. So you see this provincial center, all that are there. But I won't go too much on this one because I think Sister Chin is next to share on those things. All right, and all right, this is in Mongolia, and the brother there is a very famous, popular poet in Mongolia. And this sister in the white in front is a mother, very good Bhavana. Even though she don't know English, she has a bit of Russian, but very good Bhavana, and she knows this poet, you know, when we visited. And of course, the yellow t-shirt, most of you will know her as Tema. She came to study at Nila University, and you have seen her in ARC and all that, yeah? So, and just to share the thing in Mongolia, once a year on United Nations International Day of Peace, the Baha'i has organized always with the United Nations rep interfaith thing. So we went into as part of it. It's the interfaith thing. So the Shintos and all that, you know. So the one on the left, the lady is the United Nations rep, and then the one with the jeans is Sister Buggy, doctor, but very cooperative to do translation in Mongolia. And that time, then Sister Kim was visiting. So we each, you know, light the candles and all that. And then there is a peace bell there, and we all join and ring and push the bell in that way for International Peace Day. Right. So that was a bit of Mongolia. Thank you, brother.
So you have all the pictures. So, Sister Helen, you set up the center. Actually, you opened the center in Mongolia. You were the first one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so now the Russian sister, I think, has taken over.
Yes.
Okay. And how many other centers? I heard you also helped to set up.
No, basically only Ipoh, because when the few instruments souls came to, you know, we already moved to Bangsa. Then I saw that, okay, Baba has the hands, I will go somewhere else to do Baba service. And because my hometown is Ipoh, and it's about 2 hours drive, I just one weekend drive there, go and find a house to rent. Next weekend, go and drive and clean up the house. And then that's it, you know. I just set up a center for Baba service, because then it can go somewhere else. That's it, basically. And Mongolia was, yes, I did go there to start Baba service. And because it's so far away and not cheap to go there, after 5 years, I told Didi that it's good for the Russians to take over, because they're next door neighbor, and the Russians were there for 70 years. So the old generation knows some Russian. Yeah, so it's practical, you know, in that way.
Okay, thanks for that. And Sister Helen, one very personal question I've been thinking of asking you before I move on to the 3 virtues. Well, you were young, you were traveling. I'm sure you have met many people. Have you had any boyfriends?
No.
Oh.
No.
You never ever thought of getting married, have a family?
No. And I was very fortunate because I'm number 5. I got 1 older sister, 3 older brothers, and 1 younger sister. All of them are married with children. So I don't have pressure from my parents, you know, no pressure in that way. So I was very fortunate. So I think for Brahmins, we have this concept of perfection, you know, the perfect one. And again, that was the time of coming to Baba. And that's it. Who will be the perfect one? Only God is the perfect one who can uplift us. Human beings are already, we are already all depleted out, you know. Where can, you know, any human being can really be in that kind of perfection.
So there's only one Baba and none other.
Baba, you know.
One support.
Yeah, you know, truth is truth, and that's it, you know, the whole cycle in that way.
Wonderful. Okay, as you know, the 3 virtues that we have chosen for this 40th year anniversary celebration is unity, respect, and love. And so would you like to share something relating to these virtues in your life, practically, whether any of these virtues you have used, you have practiced and touched others as well?
Well, you know, I always have that kind of respect for people, for their opinions, for their whatever, because I always feel that each one is very unique and very special. So, you know, if you have your own self-respect, you would be able to actually understand, you know, and for me, I always give the respect and regard for people. I always feel that there's so much to learn from everybody. Yeah. So, and we are fortunate in a sense in Malaysia, we are already very diverse, and we are already all, in a way, a good percentage of being together, irregardless of whether it's religion or race or whatsoever. In the general public, because some things have been a bit politicized, but actually, for most people, you will find that from just like in the old days, it was a very much oneness, you know, just like in the Lat cartoons, it just has that kind of a oneness. We don't see that. In fact, we enjoy the differences. And that's it. The important thing here is maturity and not triviality in that way. And learning so much to learn from each one. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Sister Helen, one last question. What is your hope and vision for Malaysia, Brahma Kumaris Malaysia?
Yeah. So, as through the years, Baba's family has grown and many variety of children have come, and lots of you know, souls with their specialities and talents, etc., in every way. And so these are very, you know, the important instruments to help to expand. So as I say, when there's maturity, then there is that overriding or whatever small things, you know. Maturity is very important, you know. You just go above and beyond whatever other things, and just focus that it is Baba's task. Everything is Baba's task, and Baba's the one to do everything. We just have to know what we have to do and do. You know, each one has something to do. You just know what you have to do and do it. And Baba is the overall one that looks after everything. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Sister Helen. Really, I learned from you that simple, easy nature and introversion that has really brought so important in our life to be able to imbibe many other virtues. And also you have shared with us the fortune of being with the seniors, very simple and very down to earth and practical. You learn so many things and you share with us. So really very nice to have you with us this evening. And I'm sure all of us, all the brothers and sisters out there, you have enjoyed this session. You have never heard that Sister Helen had been so adventurous, traveling and working at the same time. And yes, now I get to know that you have only one strength and one support, none but one in your heart. So that's very, very rare and very fortunate to have this most important quality of being a Brahmin. So really appreciate very much that you have shared with us so many things. Thank you. And so now, of course, we want to remember Baba, which is most important. And I would like to suggest that all of us, can you please, we'll have meditation. Sister Helen will give her powerful drishti, and I will share a few thoughts to guide us in the meditation. So is it okay, brothers and sisters? Is all right? Okay. So please sit straight and relax and take drishti from Sister Helen. So, Om Shanti. As I sit here, I allow my mind to settle into silence and peace. In this moment, I put aside any unwanted thoughts, and I focus my attention. I focus my attention on the heart of my being. As I sit here, as I breathe, as I exist, I feel pure love in my heart. A love untouched by time, space, and condition. It is as though I'm having this feeling of unconditional love towards all my brothers and sisters. And I hold on to this feeling gently within myself. I feel a deep acceptance of myself and of everyone. My fears and uncertainties dissolve. I become sure of myself in this drama of life, sure of my strength, and sure of my ability to overcome obstacles. My heart is strong. I cast out all doubts and fears. And in this very moment, I open myself to God, to the divine, to Almighty Baba. And in this silent moment before Baba, I surrender myself, my spirit to Baba. I let Baba love me. And within my heart, I know I'm worthy of his love. Because Baba knows me. He understands me and loves me unconditionally. And together, we become merged in love. With this love, I experience pure contentment, boundless joy, and I release the pain of unsatisfied desires and difficult relationships. Together, combined in love, we radiate that love to the people in the world, to the people in my life, I send out heartfelt feelings of loving acceptance, of appreciation to the family, BK family, Lockett family, and to all souls of the world. I reach out to their hearts and I send them God's gift of pure love, blessings, and support. I send God's gift to everyone. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So dear sisters and brothers, once again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I really hope that you have enjoyed this session that's very light and easy and happy. So do join us again for the next session on 17th of March. Next session will be in Tamil with Brother Manimaran and Sister Rukmani. Thank you. Om Shanti. Good night.